The crystalline spires of New Vancouver's Interstellar Conference Centre gleamed in the morning sun as Dr. Kira Harrison straightened her collar for the 10th time. Her presentation on ancient human civilizations was scheduled to begin in exactly 17 minutes, and her stomach churned with equal parts excitement and dread. The Vraxian delegation would be present. The first alien race humanity had contacted, and the most dismissive of Earth's achievements. The sharp click of her heels echoed through the corridor as she made her way to the presentation hall. 3 years of research, countless expeditions, and one nearly fatal encounter with a jaguar had led to this moment. She had evidence of an advanced human civilization that predated all known history. The conference room doors slid open with a soft hiss. Hundreds of faces turned toward her, human and Vraxian alike. The aliens were easy to spot, their iridescent scaled skin and towering height making them stand out among the human attendees. Ambassador Nix, their lead diplomat, sat in the front row, his violet eyes regarding her with barely concealed disdain. Kira activated her holoprojector, and the first images of her discoveries filled the air above the stage. "Distinguished colleagues," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves, "what I'm about to present will revolutionize our understanding of human history." The snicker from the Vraxian section was quiet but distinct. Kira pressed on, showing detailed scans of anomalous energy readings from deep within the Amazon rainforest. These readings suggest the presence of advanced technology, far beyond anything we've previously attributed to ancient human civilizations. Absurd. Ambassador Nix's voice cut through the air like a blade. "Dr. Harrison, while your enthusiasm is charming, you're clearly misinterpreting natural phenomena. Humans hadn't even mastered basic spaceflight when we found you. The idea that your ancestors possessed advanced technology is simply impossible." Heat crept up Kira's neck as scattered laughter rippled through the audience. "The evidence is clear, Ambassador. These energy signatures match no known natural phenomena. Perhaps to your primitive scanning equipment." Nix rose, his towering frame casting a shadow across the stage. "Let me be clear. We Vraxians have studied thousands of emerging civilizations. Your species is remarkably average. These fantasies about lost advanced civilizations only highlight your desperation to seem more important than you are." Kira's fingers tightened around her presentation remote. "With all due respect, Ambassador, science isn't about assumptions. It's about evidence. And the evidence, Nix interrupted, is that humans are barely out of their stone age compared to truly advanced species. Your kind still fights over resources, destroys your environment, and clings to primitive social structures. These delusions of past greatness are beneath serious scientific discourse." The silence in the hall was deafening. Kira stood frozen, her carefully prepared presentation crumbling around her. Then her tablet buzzed. An urgent message from her research partner, Dr. James Rodriguez, still at the dig site in Brazil. "Kira, get back here now. We found something impossible, and it's active." She looked up from the message to find Nix watching her with that same patronizing smile. In that moment, something hardened inside her. "You're right about one thing, Ambassador," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the hall. "Humans are young. We make mistakes. We struggle and fight and mess up. But there's one thing you've completely misunderstood about us." The ambassador's scales shifted color slightly, the Vraxian equivalent of a raised eyebrow. "We never, ever stop trying to learn and grow. And sometimes that leads to discoveries that change everything." She gathered her materials quickly. "If you'll excuse me, I have a flight to catch. It seems my primitive research has turned up something rather interesting." As she strode from the hall, head high despite the murmurs and laughs, Kira allowed herself a small smile. She'd been called crazy before, when she'd insisted on exploring deeper into the Amazon against all advice, when she'd followed energy readings that couldn't possibly exist. But she'd learned long ago that the impossible had a funny way of becoming possible when humans set their minds to it. 24 hours later, her helicopter touched down in a hastily cleared landing zone in the heart of the Amazon. James was waiting for her, his usually neat appearance disheveled, eyes wild with excitement. "You're not going to believe this," he said, practically pulling her toward the excavation site. The energy readings, they weren't coming from artifacts. They were coming from this. The jungle canopy had been pulled back, revealing a massive structure half buried in the earth. Its surface was smooth, unlike any ancient construction she'd ever seen, and there was a faint pulse of light emanating from within. "It's some kind of ship," James explained as they approached. "And Kira, it recognized my DNA. Called me descendant. Whatever this is, it's been waiting for us. Waiting for a very long time." Kira placed her hand against the cool metal surface and felt a slight vibration beneath her palm. For a moment, she thought about Nyx's smugly superior expression, about all the times humans had been dismissed as primitive, unremarkable, ordinary. A section of the hull began to shift and move under her touch, panels sliding away to reveal an entrance. Light spilled out from within, and a voice spoke, not in any ancient language, but in perfect modern English. Genetic match confirmed. "Welcome home, children of Earth. The stellar phoenix awakens." Kira smiled. It was time to show the galaxy exactly what primitive humans were capable of. The interior of the stellar phoenix hummed with power as Kira and James made their way through its gleaming corridors. Every surface seemed alive with subtle patterns of light, responding to their presence as they passed. The ship's A, which had introduced itself as ARIA, Advanced Reconnaissance Intelligence Assistant, guided them deeper into the vessel. "Your civilization's current technological level suggests approximately 12,000 years of disconnection from your heritage." ARIA's voice emanated from all around them. "The great severance was even more complete than we feared." Kira ran her hand along a smooth wall, watching ripples of light follow her touch. The great severance. What happened to us? To humanity? They entered what appeared to be a command center, and a holographic display sprang to life, filling the chamber with images of Earth's ancient past. "Your ancestors were among the most advanced species in this spiral arm of the galaxy," ARIA explained. "The network of civilizations you built spanned thousands of light years." James let out a low whistle as the hologram showed vast cities floating in space, ships that dwarfed anything humanity had ever built. What went wrong? The hologram shifted, showing a massive battle. The Harbingers came. A species that believed technological advancement should be strictly controlled, that younger races needed to be guided and maintained at appropriate levels of development. The A's tone carried a hint of bitterness. "Your ancestors fought them, refusing to accept their imposed limitations." "The Vraxians," Kira breathed. "They're descended from the Harbingers, aren't they?" "Correct, though they have forgotten their own history as thoroughly as humanity forgot its own. The war was devastating. To protect Earth and prevent the Harbingers from accessing humanity's most advanced technology, your ancestors made an impossible choice." The hologram showed a massive energy wave sweeping across Earth. "They used experimental technology to erase all traces of advanced civilization, including from the minds of the survivors. Humanity would start fresh, protected by hidden guardians, like the stellar phoenix, waiting for the day when you would be ready to reclaim your heritage. A sudden alarm cut through the chamber, red lights pulsing along the walls. "Warning," Eraya announced. "Multiple orbital insertions detected. Vraxian ships entering Earth's atmosphere." Kira's tablet buzzed. An emergency alert. The Vraxian delegation had declared Earth a potential threat to galactic stability after detecting the energy signature of the awakening stellar phoenix. They were coming to contain the situation. "Your timing is impeccable, Dr. Harrison," Araya said, and Kira could have sworn the AA sounded amused. "The Vraxians fear what humanity might remember. They're right to be afraid." The command center systems came fully online, displays showing the approaching Vraxian ships. "I am detecting 17 vessels on direct approach to this location," Araya reported. "Their weapons are armed." "Can this ship still fight?" James asked, looking nervously at the tactical displays. The Stellar Phoenix was the flagship of humanity's defense fleet, Araya replied. "But I cannot operate at full capacity without a human commander fully interfaced with my systems. Dr. Harrison, as the one who awakened me, you are genetically compatible. But the neural interface process is not without risk." Kira watched the Vraxian ships descending through Earth's atmosphere, remembering Ambassador Nix's contemptuous dismissal of human achievement. She stepped forward. "What do I need to do?" A section of the floor opened, revealing a command chair unlike anything she'd ever seen. "The interface will connect you directly to the ship's systems," ARIA explained. "You will need to process an enormous amount of information very quickly. The strain could be significant. But if it works, then you will command one of the most advanced warships ever created by human hands. The Stellar Phoenix was designed to face entire fleets alone." Another alarm blared. "Vraxian ships entering weapons range in 3 minutes. They are broadcasting demands for immediate surrender." Kira settled into the command chair, her heart pounding. Neural interface points emerged from the chair, positioning themselves around her head. "You know," she said to James, trying to keep her voice light, "I really hate it when people tell me what I can't do." "Interface initiating," ARIA announced. "Remember, Dr. Harrison, this ship, this legacy, it's not just a weapon. It's proof of what humanity once was, what you can be again." The neural interfaces activated, and Kira's world exploded into light. Information flooded her consciousness. Weapon systems, engine configurations, 12,000 years of sealed history. She screamed as her mind struggled to process it all, to contain the vast knowledge of humanity's forgotten golden age. Through the pain, she heard Aria's voice. Interface stabilizing. Neural patterns accepting configuration. "Commander Harrison, the Stellar Phoenix awaits your orders." Kira opened her eyes, but she wasn't just seeing through them anymore. She was seeing through the ship's sensors, feeling its power thrumming through her very being. The Vraxian ships appeared as bright points in her expanded consciousness, their weapons hot and ready to fire. She smiled, feeling the Stellar Phoenix's own weapons stirring to life. "RIA, open a channel to the Vraxian fleet. I think it's time we had a discussion about humanity's place in the galaxy." Above them, the Amazon canopy parted as the ancient warship rose from its resting place, its hull gleaming in the sunlight for the first time in 12 millennia. Humanity's past was awake, and the future was about to change forever. Rising storm. The Vraxian fleet hung in the sky like a constellation of daggers, their ships' angular forms reflecting the tropical sun. Through the Stellar Phoenix's enhanced sensors, Kira could see their weapon systems charging, ready to obliterate what they saw as a primitive species reaching too far above its station. "This is Commander Harrison of the Stellar Phoenix," she broadcast, her voice steady despite the neural interface still sending shivers of information through her consciousness. "Your presence in Earth's atmosphere is a violation of sovereign territory." Ambassador Nix's face appeared on the command center's main display. His usual composure had cracked, scales shifting rapidly between colors. "Dr. Harrison, power down that vessel immediately. Your species is not authorized to possess such technology." Authorized. Kira felt the Stellar Phoenix's weapons systems responding to her rising anger. "Humanity doesn't need your authorization, Ambassador. This ship is our heritage, built by human hands long before your people appointed themselves guardians of galactic development." "Impossible," Nix snarled. "You're lying. That vessel must be of alien origin." "RIA," Kira commanded, "show them." The Stellar Phoenix projected a massive hologram visible to all the Vraxian ships, displaying scenes from humanity's forgotten golden age. Cities among the stars, fleets of ships that made the current Vraxian force look primitive in comparison, and finally, the construction of the Stellar Phoenix itself by human engineers. "Commander," ARIA's voice carried an edge of urgency. "They are targeting their primary weapons." "So be it." Kira accessed the ship's defensive systems, feeling them integrate with her thoughts. "If they want to test what this primitive human can do with proper technology, I'm happy to demonstrate." The Vraxian ships opened fire, energy beams lancing through the atmosphere. But the Stellar Phoenix moved with impossible grace, its advanced shielding deflecting the attacks with contemptuous ease. Every evasive maneuver, every defensive reaction came naturally to Kira through the neural interface. "Final warning, Ambassador," she broadcast. "Withdraw your forces or face the consequences." The response came in the form of another barrage. Kira sighed. "ARIA, activate the gravity lance." The Stellar Phoenix's primary weapon powered up, sending waves of gravitational distortion through space. 3 Vraxian ships found themselves caught in its effect, their hulls crumpling like paper as localized gravity wells tore them apart. The remaining ships scattered in panic. "By the eternal void," Nix whispered, his arrogance replaced by fear. "What are you?" "We are human," Kira replied. "And it's time you learned what that really means." Battle for Soul. The next 48 hours passed in a blur of activity. As news of the Stellar Phoenix spread, Earth's governments scrambled to respond. Some called for immediate military control of the vessel, while others demanded access to its technological secrets. Through it all, Kira maintained her position. The ship's technology belonged to all humanity, but it had to be handled responsibly. James coordinated with scientific teams worldwide, working to understand the vast database of human achievements ARIA had preserved. But their time was limited. Long-range sensors detected a massive Vraxian fleet approaching the solar system. "They're afraid," ARIA explained as Kira studied the tactical projections. The Vraxians built their entire civilization on the belief that they were the guardians of proper technological development. The truth of humanity's past threatens everything they believe. "How many ships?" Kira asked, though she could already see the answer through the neural interface. 217 capital ships, plus support vessels. They intend to end the human problem permanently. Kira felt a chill run down her spine. The Stellar Phoenix was powerful, but against an entire fleet. "What are our options?" "There is something," ARIA said carefully. "The ship carries a prototype system, designed for exactly this type of situation. But using it requires complete neural integration. The strain on your mind would be significant. You mean potentially fatal. Kira watched the approaching fleet's position update on the tactical display. Tell me. The quantum mirror drive. It creates temporal echoes of the ship, allowing us to be in multiple places simultaneously. Each echo is real, fully capable of combat, but maintaining them requires immense mental focus. Before Kira could respond, a new alert flashed. The Vraxian fleet had launched their first wave of fighters. The battle for humanity's future was about to begin. Awakening. The space around Earth erupted in chaos as the stellar Phoenix engaged the Vraxian fleet. Kira's consciousness stretched across multiple instances of the ship, each temporal echo moving in perfect coordination. The strain was incredible. She could feel blood trickling from her nose, her mind screaming under the pressure. But it was working. The Vraxians couldn't adapt to fighting an enemy that existed in multiple places at once, their formations breaking apart as the stellar Phoenix's gravity lances tore through their ranks. Ships exploded in silence, their debris creating a new ring around Earth. Kira. James's voice seemed to come from very far away. Your neural patterns are destabilizing. You have to stop. She ignored him, pushing deeper into the neural interface. Through the ship's sensors, she could see more than just the battle. She saw the quantum strings that held reality together, the underlying patterns of space and time. And she understood why humanity had been forced to hide its true nature. RIA, she managed through gritted teeth, initiate the Remembrance Protocol. Commander, that sequence was never tested. The effects could be unpredictable. Do it. It's time for everyone to remember. Energy coursed through the stellar Phoenix, building to impossible levels. The quantum echoes collapsed back into a single ship as a wave of pure information exploded outward, washing over Earth and the Vraxian fleet alike. In that moment, everyone remembered. The Vraxians remembered their own past, how their ancestors had been not the guardians they claimed, but fearful oppressors who sought to control other species' development. Humanity remembered its golden age, the achievements and wonders they had built among the stars. The neural interface released Kira gently as the energy wave dissipated. She slumped in the command chair, exhausted but triumphant. On every screen, Vraxian ships were powering down their weapons. Commander, Aoya announced, the Vraxian fleet is broadcasting a surrender. Their crews, they're requesting asylum. The truth of their history has shattered their society's foundations. Kira managed a weak smile. Granted. We're not the oppressors they were. She turned to James, who was watching her with concern. Contact the UN. Tell them it's time to rebuild. Not just our technology, but our wisdom. We know who we were now. More importantly, we know who we can be. As Earth's nations scrambled to process their recovered heritage, as humans and Vraxians alike grappled with restored histories, the stellar Phoenix hung in orbit, a testament to humanity's potential. They had been called primitive, been dismissed and mocked, but in the end, humanity had proven what Kira had always believed. Given the chance, humans could achieve the impossible. The age of limitations was over. The age of remembrance had begun.